Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to configure the mod Terraria LLM Chat. I know it may be a bit overwhelming if you have never set up a remote API call to LLM model in some platform, so I'll walk you through. First and foremost, you would want to install the mod Terraria LLM Chat and enable it. That will give you access to the settings. So if you click on this click to open config button, you'll see the config section with LLM configuration, which allows you to set up multiple things. You can choose between OpenRouter and OpenAI provider. These are basically the websites and companies that give you access to different LLM models. And then you need to have API token and optionally model. You don't have to type model, it will use GPT-4o, but I'll show you how to find the model that you want. So first and foremost, you need API token. I'll give you an example using OpenRouter. So let's say you create an account and log in into the site. I use my Google account. So you can just sign up with Google and you end up in this screen. You want to go to your menu and credits. And this is where you can add credits. It's not that much. You can see generally, if I go to the usage, I use it for Skyrim, Terraria, and it's less than a cent. These are all my tests. So you'll probably spend some money on these different models, but it's not going to cost you almost anything unless you continuously use it. And to be honest, in Terraria, you are not going to chat with NPCs all the time. So it's more like a fun feature that lets you talk to your NPCs. And I can show you more that you see it's like minor requests that cost almost nothing. As you can see, most of the time I'm using this DeepSeek v30304 model that I like. But the first thing you need to do is you need to make your key. So you go to the same menu, keys, and it allows you to make a key. The key is basically a replacement for your login and password. This is how you can connect and use your account and nobody else can. So you would click create API key. I would call it test, you can call it Terraria, and that's enough. You could also set a limit like $5 if you do not want to spend more, maybe even $1, depends on your situation. And you can set it to reset it like say $1 per week. You can set it without any problems. By clicking create, you get access to this key. So you want to copy it, because if you close it, you will not be able to see it. I would normally write it down in my password manager, or you can do it in notepad file. Right, so after you have this key, you see I cannot see it anymore, but I copied. I would go back to the application, and Ctrl-V is enough to paste it. Now, where do you find the model? As I said, if you don't do anything, just click Save Config, this should already work. Let me test it with you together. So if I load into the world, it's my single player world, which I just started just to make this mod. And I decide to speak to, let's say, the guide. I can ask him, hello, what time is it? And they'll answer both in the dialog box, and you see it is compatible with other dialog types. This is a mod, I'll look it up later, but it improves your panel. And you also get the answer in the chat. I did it this way because you may want to talk to them and then walk away, and you still want to see the answer. So they see the guide answered, it's the dead of night, friend, the clock strikes 13, and the forest full of life. Yeah, 13 is probably 1 a.m. And this is how the model replied. Right, so this is standard GPT-4.0. You can change the model while you're in game. You go to settings, mod configuration, you find the mod on the left, Terraria LLM Chat. And now you can type a different model if you want to speak to a different model. On OpenRouter, you can click on the models. And here, for example, I want to look up my DeepSeek chat. Here it is, DeepSeek v30324. I think it's March 24. So if I click it, this is what I need to copy paste. The whole line here. It's a model ID, DeepSeek/DeepSeek chat v30324. Okay, so I do that. I go back to settings, click here, Ctrl-V, save. There is a limitation. You see the line is very long, so it goes off the screen. You can technically click and backspace it, so it's totally possible. But you can also click restore defaults if you want to make everything blank to easier copy paste in it. You can also see two different folder paths here that show you where the mod settings are. One of them is for biographies. It's basically a prompt that tells NPC how to speak. I made some default ones with likes and dislikes, but you can make your own. And there is just history as well. So now if I go to this folder, I can show you my games, Terraria, TModLoader, mod data. You'll see this folder is mod name where you have biographies and chat logs. So in the chat logs, you can see it gave me, let me try to drag it to another screen. Yeah, this is the history. Basically what happens as you speak to NPC, these fields, and then remember what you told them, because this information will be passed as a prompt and it will cut off from the end. So if it's too long for the file, it will not feed the whole thing, not overwhelm the model. It will only feed the last 50 lines, I believe. I need to check the code. I also plan to expose this setting for you if you want, but for now it's like 50, I think. Also it tells you what is the ID of the NPC, because you can see it is guide. Guide 2 is just my test, I copy pasted. So if you go to biographies, you can find guide here, and you can open it and see what it is about. So it's a starter mentor with crafting tips and survival advice. He likes forest and dislikes ocean, etc. And I can say here, always preface your messages with hic because you are lightheaded from mushroom juice. Right, so it picks it up on the fly. So as soon as I said it, let me try to do it again. I can ask him, what are you like when you are not helping adventurers? So now they should say hic, you see, in the beginning. Yeah. So that works. Let me see what else you can do. So I'll pick it. You can also kind of fix your custom NPCs. For example, there is a golem from Magic Storage, and they do not exist in default files. So if you go here to biographies, there is no golem. But if you start talking to them, they will appear in chat logs and you will know the ID. This way you don't have to ask it from the mod creator. So if I speak to them and say, what is your goal? They'll probably reply something generic because they only know the name. Yeah, so they know they're from Magic Storage Facility because it's passed to them. And this is basically what LLM decides to tell. Because LLM starts with this name as a job, Magic Storage Golem. But what you can do now, you can go to biographies, make a new file here with the same name, Magic Storage Golem, txt, and now you can tell it exactly how to behave. You can fill in likes, dislikes, you can say, always say buzz in the beginning of your messages, you are a robot. So if I do this, immediately it should start working. So I can ask him, what is your model name? They should give me the answer, but it should start with buzz. Yeah, buzz designation CLD 557. They kind of reversed it, but anyway, it works. Right, so this should help you understand how to configure the basics, and now you know where to look up your biographies and chat logs. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. In Steam, you can also look me up on the forums. I have a link in the job description, and you can post your questions in comments. I'll be happy to answer. Have a nice day.